WrestlePod is supported by viewers like you. To support WrestlePod and the other programs on this channel, visit patreon.com/Ian Beaumont live and direct. We got the first episode of WOS Wrestling to review. We've got Impact Wrestling Slammiversary to talk about, and an all-female pay-per-view from the WWE. All that coming up next, right here on WrestlePod. From Ian Beaumont live and direct, this is WrestlePod. Welcome along. Ian Beaumont here. Good to be with you once again. This is going to be a start of 10 weekly installments, because I know my recent history of regular installments has been a little offbeat, to say the least, but with at least 10 weeks of WOS wrestling coming up, I'm gonna be reviewing each of the episodes. They're only an hour in length and quite interesting, but we will be reviewing them. So we will get on with that. Later on, we will talk Impact Wrestling Slammiversary. And as well, after that, we are going to be talking about the big announcement WWE made this week of an all-female pay-per-view coming up in October. So that's all to come. But first, let's tackle World of Sport Wrestling. We just had the first episode here in the UK on ITV, aired at 5 p.m. UK time. What can I say about it? First of all, I actually quite like this commentary booth, and I wasn't certain that I would. The pilot had Jim Ross commentating alongside Alex Shane. Jim Ross, of course, not part of this new version, but you have Alex Shane still there, joined by SoCal Val, who's come up from the backstage interviewer thing that she did in the pilot, and Stu Bennett, who is also the WOS executive, as they call him. Basically, it's the general manager. It's just another name. But yeah, so you have this 3-person booth, and it actually works quite well. Surprisingly well. I didn't expect that to be the case. And certainly I've not heard SoCal Val do commentary before. And actually, she's not overdoing it, and she's not underdoing it either. She's hitting the beats just about right. Because Alex Shane and Stu Bennett, they know what it's like to be inside that ring. So does SoCal Val, but she's more known as a backstage interviewer, ring announcer type person these days. So yeah, it was a little weird hearing her on commentary, but she works really well, providing a little colour and pizzazz at the right times without, selling the action well, without having to wanting to over talk. You get a lot of this with WWE 3-man booths. each, kind of competing for, the attention. Here they weren't. It wasn't scripted in that sense, but it felt much more natural. Like there was a genuine chemistry between all three, which I'm really surprised about. So yeah, we start off in the ring with Stu Bennett. Comes out from the back. He wasn't at ringside right at the start. It was just Alex Shane and SoCal Val at the start. Stu Bennett comes out to the ring, and basically cuts a very short promo. I mean, about a minute or two. It wasn't long. I mean, it can't be in a 1 hour show, which is like 45 minutes of actual airtime. If you cut out all the adverts and stuff, that ends up being about 45 minutes roughly, give or take a little bit. So yeah, it was kind of weird to have an opening promo be so short. Grado comes out after having basically been insulted indirectly by Stu Bennett, and you can see already some of the storyline work that's going on with this. This new executive, Stu Bennett, doesn't really like Grado, doesn't really like it that he's a bit of a comedy act, and he's holding the WOS Championship. He refers to it the Heavyweight Championship. It's got World Champion on the belt, but it's never actually referred to as the World Championship. It's either the WOS Championship or the Heavyweight Championship. But I'm going to refer to it as the WOS World Championship because that's what it says on the belt. So yeah, Stu Bennett doesn't like the fact that Grado has been hamming it up for the past, I was going to say 16 months, but it's more than that. It's nearer 20 months as WOS champion since the original pilot. And basically says we're going to have a 5-way match to crown a new number 1 contender. And really this match was the low point of the night of the show. I mean, don't get me wrong, every match had great action. Even the action in this was good. It was just the booking of that ending that really, in my view, undid a lot of the good work that was going on in that ring. And even that first elimination, where Crater got disqualified for basically not breaking on the referee's 5 count in the ropes. He was applying pressure to somebody in the ropes, and Steve Linsky, who was officiating, counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was a disqualification. And then Crater proceeded to wreak havoc on everybody else in the match. It's all well and good, but really that was kind of a weak booking, I feel. It just looked, I don't know, I did not like that particular booking, and I didn't like the fact that at the end of the match, when the ref called for the bell because he thought the only guy in the ring who'd gotten back into the ring before the 10 count, I forget his name now. It's kind of irrelevant, actually, and this is the weird bit. He won the match, this guy. but per the referee's call. But Rampage Brown had been rolled back in before the count of 10, to be fair, by Sha Samuel, who'd seen what was going. Even though he'd been eliminated from the match, he was still hanging around the ringside area, and that was, again, real dubious again. But he rolled Rampage Brown. I still won't call him. They're only referring to him as Rampage here. He's Rampage Brown, but Rampage was rolled back into the ring, and so really the match should have gone on, but instead Stu Bennett books it as a triple threat against Grado, and it was a little bit of a weak booking, to be honest, that first match. Very disappointed in it. Not so much in the storytelling and the action, just in the booking itself. It was rather weak. It was rather ineffective, really. Didn't really get anybody over, and I wasn't happy with the whole situation. Grado, by the way, was at ringside watching all this with his championship belt. The WOS World Championship. And to be honest with you, he played no part in the match at all. Really, he should have played a role. Otherwise, why do you really have him there? It makes no sense. So yeah, a little bit off on that first one. And then the second one, more than made up for it. We had an absolute amazing matchup between the aerial assassin Will Ospreay and the new British Bulldog, if you like, Davey Boy Smith Jr., otherwise known as Harry Smith. That's his real name. But he's going under Davey Boy Smith Jr. in WOS. I think he goes under Harry Smith in New Japan. And honestly, that match was awesome. After the really horrible booking of that first match, the second one was just so much better. It was kind of a showcase match. There really were no stakes in this other than just seeing who was the best. And these matches were all short. They were all kind of, even though it was never specifically mentioned as such, these were all 10-minute time limit matches. And yeah, kind of really interesting to see that they were doing quite short matches to make sure they got as much action in as possible. As I say, that opening promo only took up like, including Grado's bit, I think it only took up something like 3 minutes, and introductions to the ring are like 30 seconds each. You know, so even for 4 combatants in a tag team match, your intro is only going to be about 2 minutes and straight in. Which is quite different to WWE, where they tend to have these intros go on for a minute or 90 seconds. So yeah, kind of weird, kind of nice actually to have this be, you know, fairly pacey. Everything about this was quite pacey. But man, what a match those two put on. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Will Ospreay. If we could see more matches like that, and less like that first one, I will be quite happy. Because, I mean, those two should be WOS champions themselves at some point. Um, Will Ospreay really is, if you've never seen him before, he is amazing. He used to have like great matches with Ricochet before Ricochet went to WWE. I do remember one such match in WCPW, as it was at the time, where they were setting up for some moves off the rope, and one of the ropes actually broke. And Jim Ross and Matt Striker were calling the action for that particular event, and this was, great calls by both guys, and Ospreay and Ricochet recovered from it and coped amazingly well. I gotta say, it was, that was some that was some amazing action, and you really thought that this was going to be, this was more of a clash of styles, though. The high flying flippy stuff that Will Ospreay does against the power game with Davey Boy Smith Jr. A hell of a great match. Davey Boy Smith Jr. picked up the victory. Honestly, it doesn't really mean anything in this, though, because this was just, both guys won, really, in just the sense that it was a great exhibition showcase match. And, for putting on as the second match, I'm okay with it going there. It should have opened, really. But, what a way to recover from a nearly blown opening. Good stuff. Next up, you're shown the tag team championships, and one of the two pairs that are going to be fighting in this, I think one was Kip Sabian, and the other was Ayestin something, I forget. I am not familiar with a lot of these people yet. Obviously, I will get familiar in time as I'm watching this. But, they cut quite a good promo backstage with Rachel, I forget, was it Starling or Sterling? Something like that. But certainly she was a lot better than most WWE backstage interviewers, with the notable exception of Renee Young, who always is very good at her role. Charlie Caruso on the WWE side is getting a lot better. She's actually developing a little bit more of a personality, and she's not like your standard robotic interviewer anymore. Thank goodness. Then we get this tag team match with Kip Sabian and Ayestin. I want to say Ayestin James, but that's possibly wrong. Taking on two names who I do know, Martin Kirby and Joe Hendry. And here's something that surprised the hell out of me. This was part of the tag team tournament. 8 teams facing off to eventually, at the end of this, crown new tag team champions. Okay. I'm good with that. I like tournaments. The thing that surprises me was pairing Kirby and Hendry together. I now understand why. Because of what happens in the match. But wouldn't have been a pairing I would have automatically put together. But that said, the storytelling in this match was great. The action was good. Classic tag team action. And the reason why the storytelling was so great was you'd started off with Kirby and Hendry kind of working quite well, surprisingly well, considering I don't think they've tag teamed before, but they work quite well. And then at one point, Hendry had been taking a lot of beat down, and then he goes to make the tag, and Kirby jumps off the apron and kind of says, "Nah, bye-bye, this one's all yours, take it home," and walks away and walks off. Now, obviously, this is setting up a match between the two, possibly for next week. They didn't say it, but I would imagine it'll be either next week or the week after. It won't be that long before this match happens. And yeah, quite surprised actually to see that happen. Really didn't expect Martin Kirby to turn on Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's been playing the heel a lot more recently as the prestigious one in WCPW/Defiant. Now he's part of Impact Wrestling as well as WOS. Not too sure how all this will play out. Not even 100% sure whether because this is a collaboration. World of Sport Wrestling is in part of collaboration with Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling is involved in this. As far as I understand, I could be wrong there. But it was they advertised it as such before. Well, that was when it was under the GFW banner. But they have advertised it as being, as being sort of part and parcel in the same universe as it were. So I wouldn't be surprised if ITV and Impact are kind of collaborating on this. So I won't be surprised to see footage from this show appear in the next edition of Impact Wrestling. I mean, not that it actually kind of plays into anything. I don't think yet. It may end up, but yeah, kind of surprising, that one. Yeah, I again, I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously, it's a setup for it. It's a double setup. You have Kip and Yestin moving on in the tournament, but you also have this future match between Kirby and Hendry, and this one looks like it will be an absolutely amazing match. So yeah, kind of a little surprised. Next up, want to talk about the WOS World Championship match, the triple threat. Grado facing off against two opponents, one of whom would become the new WOS World Champion. That man is Rampage Brown. Rampage, as they're just calling him here. And he would actually pin Grado in the middle of the ring. Grado kind of playing up as still kind of the comedy angle guy. But yeah, Rampage now. I mean, the match was great. The action was good between all the guys. No problems with any of that. Was really impressed. So yeah. But yeah, Rampage is your new WOS World Champion. And at the end of the night, they did say that there would be another Tag Team Championship tournament, first round match, quarterfinal match, whatever you want to call it, next week, involving the Doug Williams, formerly known as the Anarchist, formerly part of Impact Wrestling's British Invasion back in 2010, something like that. So yeah, that will be an interesting match. And also, this will probably main event, because let's face it, it should do. WOS Wrestling will crown their first ever WOS Women's Champion in another triple threat match involving Viper, also known in who was known in WWE in the last what's it called? Mae Young Classic as Piper Niven. So she is going to be, I would guess she's going to be winning, because, to be honest with you, she probably deserves it out of the three who are going to be in that match. But we will see next week. I would imagine the Kirby versus Hendry match will probably be next week as well, or maybe the week after. But yeah, we definitely got a tag team tournament match and a women's championship match to crown the first ever WOS women's champion. That'll be quite amazing. I'm looking forward to that. So, those are my thoughts on the very first regular episode of WOS Wrestling. So last Sunday, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Impact Wrestling Slammiversary 16 took place. It's actually the 14th, but it's the 16th Slammiversary, as it were, 16th anniversary of that first weekly pay-per-view back in June 2002. Hence why Slammiversary is the 16th rather than the 14th, even though it is actually, there's only been 14 Slammiversaries. But the night was supposed to have begun with Rich Swann in a four-man match. Unfortunately, he suffered a concussion, so he was unable to participate. So you had Petey Williams substitute in for Rich Swann against Taiji Ishimori, Phoenix, and Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, John Morrison, whatever you want to call him. Great match, apparently, to kick off the show. I haven't seen it, but yeah, Johnny Impact won that match. But I have to admit, I haven't seen Slammiversary, but everything I've heard about it is good. And it kind of plays in. I'm going to go through the results, and then I'll talk more about my situation with Impact at the moment. Tessa Blanchard against Ali. Been reported again as another good match. Blanchard got the victory. Obviously, it's clear they're giving her a big push because she signed a 2-year deal. She'd hammer up DDT for the win. House of Hardcore rules match. Tommy Dreamer, of course, the owner of House of Hardcore, against Eddie Edwards. A lot of BCW chants. Dreamer lost. Edwards won. And there was sort of a kendo stick passing between Dreamer and Edwards, a passing of the torch sort of thing. Kind of a slightly, from what I've seen of it, not seen a lot, very weird segment, that one. Very weird match. Brian Cage became your new X Division champion after defeating Matt Sydal when Sydal missed the shooting star press, and Cage hit the drill call to win the title. So you have a new X Division champion. Su Yung, Madison Rayne, obviously Rayne put over Sue because Rayne's like been around the Impact Knockouts championship scene for a long time. Su Yung is the new girl in that sense, but already a champion. She retained by choking out Rayne, and literally she passed out. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I can't say, Su Yung. This Undead Brides thing. I'm not sure I like. I'm not sure I like it really, but that's kind of an interesting. The 51-50 street fight between LAX and the OGs, the original LAX, or 2/3 of the original LAX. It was LAX picked up the win here with Santana hitting a 5-star frog splash onto Homicide on a whole load of thumbtacks. OGs then attacked Conan after the match, so obviously this feud is continuing. But I'm kind of not taken with LAX right now, or the OGs. Hair versus mask match. Pentagon Jr. Risking his mask against Sami Callihan risking his hair. Pentagon Jr. gets the win with a package pile driver. Pentagon and Phoenix ended up shaving Sami Callihan's head. And then kind of a big announcement. Bound for Glory. The other really big pay-per-view that Impact do going to be taking place the 14th of October, New York City, at the Melrose Ballroom. Wow! That's a big deal. So yeah, we're going to have a look at that, see how that turns out. And then finally, like the World Championship match. Austin Aries eventually defeating Moose by hitting the Brainbuster for the 1-2-3 to retain. Curtis Granderson from the Toronto Blue Jays was kind of involved in the match. He was he was the person who was holding on to the title during the match. Kind of a bit of a minor thing. To be honest, though, I haven't watched a lot of Impact in about the past year. I'll tell you why. And it's not because of the new regime or anything like that. No. It's because last year the booking was so bad, it kind of put me off. And so far, although I've seen a lot of little highlights on YouTube, I haven't really sat down to watch an Impact a proper Impact Wrestling pay-per-view or even an edition of Impact Wrestling proper much. Mainly because I was a little disappointed they dropped the Impact Grand Championship. That I felt was a mistake, but certainly people seem to be liking what's going on. I'm kind of, I'm thinking I may get back into it before Bound for Glory. But I don't know. I'm a little I don't like. I don't like a lot of. I like some hardcore wrestling, but when you get into thumbtacks and barbed wire and spiked clubbers and all that, no, not really. Not really a big fan of that. So yeah, I'm kind of undecided at the moment about where I am on Impact Wrestling. But if the matches keep getting rave reviews, if I look at highlights on YouTube and start seeing them, really starting to put together stuff. And I think the other thing I'm a little disconcerted about at the moment is Josh Matthews on commentary still. Because, honestly, he's not that good. He's nowhere near as good as Jeremy Borash used to be. He's no longer with Impact, though. And certainly nowhere near that, Mike Tenay, Taz, Mike Tenay, and Don West. They really do need to look at investing in a proper commentary team rather than having Josh and Don Callis is fine on commentary. He's not a big deal. But Josh Matthews, they need to replace him. He just doesn't. He isn't that good. I'm not sure I could do much better, but I could. It just feels a little bit when he's doing commentary. He was never that great in WWE commentary either. I think it's just him. It's not. It's not production. Certain commentators, yeah, you could say, oh, WWE kind of, Michael Cole, kind of overproduced them, and when they're just allowed to get on with it, they do really good. But I'm not taken with Josh Matthews as a commentator at all. They need to find better people to do that. I know it's going to be hard, but how come we haven't got Kevin Kelly and Don Callis? Because they're a bit better when they're doing New Japan than Matthews and Callis are when I've heard them doing, Impact stuff. But, I just wish the major change they need to do is have somebody who can tell stories a lot better on commentary, because Matthews really isn't good. So that's just my feelings on Impact Wrestling. But apparently there's a great Slammiversary. I haven't seen a lot of it. I probably won't see a lot of it now. But as I say, everything I'm hearing is very positive. So maybe we'll end up getting back into it before too long. Just depends. Now that the UK can watch it in simulcast on the Fight Network on Showcase TV, I'm thinking that may end up, that may end up being a thing. That eventually we will have a proper version of the Fight Network, i.e. not as part of another channel, but on its own channel. And if we get that, all well and good. I'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Impact Wrestling at the moment and Slammiversary. Okay, so we have another story to talk about right now, and that is the big announcement from Monday Night Raw this past Monday of a brand new all-women's pay-per-view coming to WWE Network October the 28th from New York City. That is WWE Evolution. Kind of strange that they use the name of a male stable for a female pay-per-view. An old male stable, admittedly. But, this is quite interesting. I'm taken by the idea of WWE finally, saying history-making. It's not that history-making. We've had all-women pay-per-views before. Impact Wrestling did them from 2013 as part of the One Night Only series. They were called Knockouts Knockdown. And indeed, we have had and do have various all-women wrestling promotions, including Shine, Shimmer, and Stardom in Japan. So, for WWE, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal, and I like where they're going with this. Because from what we understand, every women's title in the company will be defended at that show. So you will have the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, and the NXT UK Women's Championship being defended at Evolution, which is a big deal. I'm a little disappointed they're not actually going to do a separate WWE Women's Championship, but that's just me being a little bit over the top on that side of things. I actually like them to have a proper, WWE Women's Champion, not just a Raw Women's Champion and a SmackDown Women's Champion. But that's a pure personal thought of mine. I'm glad we are going to see all 4 women's titles defended at that pay-per-view. And maybe because all the women are signed to contracts for WWE at this point, maybe that's when we'll see the big 8-woman tag, 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, and Sasha against the MMA 4 horsewomen, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and the other one, I've forgotten her name. But I would definitely, that would be the kind of special attraction match I would love to see. I don't think it's going to happen, though, because I fully expect Ronda Rousey to be holding the Raw Women's Championship by that point. And since they're saying that it is going to be defended at that show, you can bet there isn't going to be a 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen match. But that's something I'd just like to see happen. In other news, at the moment, today, Saturday, the 28th of July, is the first day of NXT UK tapings as well, which are taking place right as I'm recording this. And, of course, we will be seeing those pop up on the WWE Network very, very soon, I fully expect. Maybe a week or 2 away. I'll give you the details as soon as I know more. But yeah, that is going to do it for this edition of WrestlePod. Thank you very much for watching. Like this video, share it on social media with your friends, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and support this channel on Patreon, patreon.com/Ian Beaumont, live and direct. So until next time, next week, after the next episode of the World of Sport Wrestling, thank you very much for watching. Stay sharp, stay tuned.